Hey guys, it's me, Wanda, the solo traveler. So I am at the end of my 10-day Panama Canal Caribbean Princess cruise. And I thought I would just make a quick video kind of giving you some tips if you are getting ready to take this exact same cruise. And I know that there are a lot of you out there who are. I just wanted to, tell you a few things that I wish I had known prior to embarkation. And if you're, I want to start off by saying I make these videos for those of you who are not familiar with cruising, and maybe you're not familiar with the layout of the ships and all the intricacies that comes along with it. I don't necessarily make these videos for the cruise connoisseur. I know that there are those that you know everything that I'm about to say and then some, but it's for those that don't know. So it might be a little elementary, but we all learn and had to start somewhere. So let me start off by saying, if you are booked for this itinerary, first of all, it's a wonderful itinerary, a great cruise, but you want to make sure that you get all of your documentation done prior to embarkation. You want to be green laned so that you can flow. The process is so great. I had zero wait time for embarkation. And in fact, there just was no lines at all. And Princess has gotten it down. They got it down. So go online, do what you need to do there, download your app. This is what you'll get, your medallion. Some people wear it on their wrist. If you don't get it in the mail, because you can have it mailed to you, then you can pick it up at the pier. But make sure that all of the documentation is in the system, so that it'll show on your documents. You'll see that you'll start off in the blue lane, but you want to be green laned. So they'll just kind of say, yeah, check. They're going to ask you for your room number pretty much and have you go right on through. And if you're like me and you're used to jumping on a cruise out of Miami and all the craziness that can go on there, I was like looking around saying, is that it? Is that all? But Princess has a really good process. So get that done. It's going to make your life easier for embarkation. For my very new cruisers, I'm hoping that this is going to help. When you are, you're going to get lost on a cruise ship. It happens. Everybody gets lost on a cruise ship. I guess I shouldn't say to everybody, but as much as I cruise, I still get lost when I get on a cruise ship. It's part of cruising. If you're not getting lost on a cruise ship, you're not having fun, okay? So don't feel bad that you get turned around. You'll figure it out right before it's time to jump off the ship. It's normal. But to make things a little easier for you, and I know this is elementary, but stick with me. If you are facing the front of the ship, and so you're facing forward towards the front of the ship, the left-hand side is called the port side, the right-hand side is called the starboard side. Left for port, you can remember, because port has 4 letters, and so does left. So I think that's just kind of a good way to remember which side is left and which side is right. Port versus starboard. The front of the ship or forward, and the back of the ship is considered the aft of the ship. The elevators on this cruise ship, on the Caribbean Princess, are facing forward. So if you find yourself getting off of an elevator and you're not sure where you are, you're trying to orient yourself, just know that straight ahead of you is the front of the ship stepping off the elevator. So that left side would be your port side and the right side would be your starboard side. Now, if you get into the atrium, some of the elevators are on an angle, but the main elevators are still facing the front of the ship. This medallion, now we've had 5 ports. I have not had to show my ID one time. Of course, I take it with me every time I get off of the cruise ship, but this thing is golden. You use it everywhere on the ship. Between this and the app, the Princess Medallion app, you won't have to do anything else, so you won't need anything else. Get familiar with the app. The day that you embark, there are a couple of seminars on how to get the most out of the app, and then there is a station on deck 7 towards the front of the ship. It's called Ocean Ready, and they will help you even if you don't get on the ship and you can't get, because it might just be spinning or you might have some technical difficulties. There's someone around that will help you, but you want to get the most out of your experience and out of the app. You can do almost anything on this app, from ordering food to ordering drinks to ordering towels or pillows or bathrobe or laundry. I mean, the list goes on and on. You can book your dinner, reserve your dinner, which we really don't need to. We have not had to book any shows, pretty much, even reservations. This ship is not full, so I have not had to do any of that on this go round, but I'm sure the ship is going to be full because the holiday season is right around the corner, so you might have to reserve on the app for the next few sailings. But everything can be done right from the app. If you get lost, you can have the app direct you to where you need to go, or if you're trying to find something special on the ship. And they have digital directories all over the ship. There's usually at least one floor on every ship that goes completely around the ship. And you'll notice, the more you cruise, you'll notice that you'll be on the floor and you'll start walking and you think you're going all the way to the front or the back, and it's obstructed. You can't get through because there's a restaurant there or it's closed off. But on this ship, it's deck 7. You can go completely around the ship. When you get to the front, you have to go up a set of stairs, go around, and then back. You're kind of on deck 8 by then. But deck 7 goes completely around, and then deck 16, which is at the top of the ship. Deck 15, at the front of the ship, there is an area for viewing. If you're going to be on the ship and you're going to stay on the ship going through the Panama Canal, I suggest do it on deck 15. Now, it's not in the area where the food is. Deck 15 is the Lido deck. That's where the buffet and all the food is. But if you go through the area where the staterooms are, all the way to the very front of the ship, there is an expansive deck that expands the width of the front of the ship, that provides a great viewing area if you're staying on the ship, or you just want to watch the ship go through the locks in Panama. I, though, suggest that you do an excursion. And let me just see if I can clarify what happens in Panama, because I know there's a lot of confusion about it. I was completely confused. I even called the representative and they couldn't really give me any clarity. So now that I've gone through it, I'm hoping that this clears it up for you, because you're going to notice on your itinerary that the ship makes 2 stops in Panama, and one is only a few hours. And I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? What happens is, when the ship gets to Panama, it goes through the new locks, or the canal, which takes a few hours, a couple of hours. Then it goes into this huge lake called Gadam Lake. When the ship gets to Gadam Lake, it's about 10 to 11 o'clock. Those who have booked excursions are then allowed to take a shuttle because we're in the middle of the lake, from the lake to the excursion. Everybody else has to stay on the ship. The ship will then turn around and come back through the locks, and it will dock in Colon, Panama, which happens sometime around, I guess, 5 or 6. I'm not really sure the time that it docks, but whatever time it takes to get back around and through the lakes, through the locks. That second stop in Panama is only really to pick up the passengers who were released to go on their excursions. That's why it's a short turnaround time. And that's why I suggest, if you really want to see Panama and you want to see the locks up close and personal, you probably want to get off the ship. I did the ferry boat. It was awesome. We went to the original locks. and the boat that we were on, the ferry, was only half full, and it was just a great experience. I can't say enough how great the experience was. If you are thinking about doing the train, because that was my first option, or I was kind of wavering against the two, the boat and the train, be aware that the train may or may not commence. If they don't have enough passengers, they will cancel. But they're going to still take as many reservations until like at the last minute. So that they canceled the train excursion this particular voyage, and there were a lot of people who were without an excursion, and they were trying to at the last minute switch excursions, and many people just were not allowed to get off the ship. So keep that in mind if you're looking at the train as an option for the Panama Canal. If there's and I think we were the only ship that day, so that's another thing. If there are many ships that's going to be in port, then the chances of the train being operational are much better. The beverage package. That's another thing that can be confusing on a lot of cruise lines, because they've got all these different beverage packages, and you get the beverage package, and then you go to order something and they charge you. I only had the plus package. I'm not really a drinker, but the good thing about it is it covered your specialty coffees, and I know there's some lines, even if you have the beverage package, if you want the coffees, then you have to get an additional package. But this covered soft drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. I think anything up to $12, I believe it was. It is that they cover. But your account is on your app. So everything you need to know, though, is on your app. And if you have questions, I say you could just check with guest services. They're open. They're always there, 24/7. Somebody's there to answer your questions. And Princess has a great customer service relations department, so you should not have any problems in that respect. If you're traveling solo, like I am, and you want to sit with other people during dining, just because your app may say, oh, you're scheduled to dine at a certain time, that's really a suggestion. That's their recommendation. You can always go to the dining room and say, hey, look, I'm traveling solo. I'd like to sit with a group of people or other solos, because they know have an idea of how many people are traveling alone. And for me, they ask, would you like to sit with other people? Now, you might want to just sit by yourself, and that's fine too. So, but just know that that option is there. Take advantage of all the restaurants on board. There is free ice cream. I think it's only on deck 15 is the only place that I've seen it. Know that they serve lunch in the dining room on Embarkation Day. That's different, because some of the other lines, usually it's just the buffet. So, and I've had lunch in their dining room a couple of times, and lunch is actually pretty tasty. I was pleasantly surprised and impressed. The shows are great. We did not have to make reservations. As I said, it's not a full ship. But, that might be different for ships that are at capacity. I'm thinking that that's kind of all I want to say. And I get a lot of messages, about these cruises, and some things I kind of take for granted that people know. And then some things I just forget about. So that's why I try to do, as many of these while I'm on board and while it's fresh in my mind. So to give you an idea of what you might want to do, what things to look out for while you are cruising. That's all I have. You guys have a wonderful day and happy cruising. Toodles!